Hi, I'm Aaron, and today I'm here with Leah, and we have the opportunity to interview Christophe Beck, composer of the newest film, Edge of Tomorrow. Thanks so much for being here.
Pleasure to be here.
Real quick, why don't you just roll down your credits? Just give us a list of your credits for us.
Just give a few highlights. The Hangover series, all three of them. Going way back, my first hit was Bring It On, the cheerleading comedy with Kirsten Dunst from some time ago.
Spirit fingers.
Yeah, exactly. And more recently, Frozen, which has, of course, become this huge phenomenon.
Do you want to tell us a little bit about what a composer does compared to like a music supervisor or?
The composer is the person who creates the background music for a movie. So basically, when you go see a movie, if you're hearing a music that doesn't have a singer in it, doesn't have lyrics, that's almost certainly the work of the composer of the score.
So what do you think is the biggest misconception that people have about composers?
Well, a couple things. For fans of composers and scores, and there are some, a lot of them go to a movie maybe scored by one of their favorite composers and are disappointed and wonder why he or she did such a thing when I was hoping for this. And I think sometimes people forget that it's a very collaborative art form, and the composer serves at the pleasure of the director and the producers on the film. Some filmmakers have very distinctive and particular visions for how they want the music to be. Some filmmakers give the composer more free rein. So a lot of times, the choices you hear in the music aren't the composers, but the filmmakers.
Well, which do you prefer? Do you prefer to work with a filmmaker that is very directive about what kind of sound they want at a particular moment, or do you prefer someone that just do your thing, man?
Do your thing, man, sounds pretty nice to me right now. I think we all, as artists, want that freedom to just do what we think and or know is best. But that's not the way the business works. The few times when I've had that kind of freedom, it's almost a little bit scary. I almost need the direction now as a composer, so I welcome it.
Because you've worked on so many different types of entertainment, television like Buffy and Angel, and then all different types of movies, comedies and dramas, do you sometimes find that versatility that you have makes it hard if you don't have direction?
I don't think so. I think that every project I treat as its own set of challenges musically, and the challenge is the same as everyone. In every project is how do I best help tell the story musically? Whatever the genre, whatever the style of music, the problems are more about figuring out whose point of view to take with the music, deciding whether to play this character's point of view, who might be feeling something entirely different than this other character, that sort of thing. And that's the sort of thing that I really do need help with the director. The director is the one with the vision.
Well, I'm going to ask a question that I know a lot of nerds are going to get excited about. I love Buffy the Vampire Slayer, and everyone that I talk to who likes Buffy the Vampire Slayer really appreciates your score, specifically in one episode in particular that I remember called Hush.
Yes.
And could you just talk about how, because it was so different, you had to tell the story with your music.
Right, almost like a silent movie.
Yeah.
No, that was definitely a highlight of that series and of my career, to be able to do an episode like that. I knew that episode was coming up because the executive producer and creator of the show, Joss Whedon, came up to me one time months before the show was shot, and he said, "I just wrote something you're gonna love." And then he told me all about it, and I immediately became a little bit terrified because I knew it would really be a showpiece for the music, and I also knew that I wouldn't have 2 weeks to do it. Just because it's a special episode, I'd still have my customary 3 or 4 days.
Yeah.
And those were 3 or 4 days of very little sleep. And I remember feeling like it was really something special, not just the music, but the whole episode was very unique to have a whole episode where basically nobody speaks.
Yeah.
And all the communication has to be nonverbal.
So growing up, was there a composer that you admired, or was there a moment in your youth when you decided that this is what you wanted to do by seeing a movie or something like that?
I didn't really think about becoming a film composer till after I graduated college. Growing up, I just wanted to be a rock star.
Where'd you go to school?
I went to college at Yale. And then USC for a grad program in film scoring that they had just started at the time.
Nice.
But growing up, really my influences were cheesy 80s bands like Styx and Depeche Mode. I guess I still My wife sometimes still drags me out to see Depeche Mode concerts, and I'm amazed when I hear their songs. I'm like, oh, wait, that's that tune that I wrote for there. Oh, yeah, that's... I mean, I really hear their influence in my work even today.
Nice.
When you got into the program, did you find more composers that have now influenced you? I mean, people that you really admire?
For sure. Jerry Goldsmith was one of my teachers there, and he was a huge influence on how I think about scoring for films today and how I think about composing, particularly in his ability to be economical. He could make a lot out of a little. You know, he could have a 4-note theme and then spin that off into a 2 or 3 minute intense action sequence that's, you know, where you hear that 4-note theme in every little part, sort of like the way Beethoven does in his symphonies.
So what led you to compose the score for Frozen? Did it just come about as a normal offer, or did anything special happen?
My first work at Disney was a short film called Paperman that appeared before Wreck-It Ralph, which was in black and white and set in 1950s New York.
I remember that one.
And used a very pioneering and innovative combination of CGI and hand-drawn animation. And I was very fortunate that this film was great and ended up winning the Oscar. When Frozen came up and it came time to choose a composer, they called me in. And it wasn't a regular job offer. You know, normally I go in for a job interview, and it is a job interview. I have to sell myself.
Elsa? It's me, Anna. Anna.
I sort of came in not really knowing what to expect. I'm like, what other composers are they considering? You know, what are my chances of actually getting this gig? And it turns out they were selling to me. And at the end of the meeting, I'm like, so, I mean, are you guys offering me the job? It's like, yeah, that's it, you know. You want to do it?
You're like, yeah, why not?
That's awesome.
Yeah.
We have Edge of Tomorrow coming up, and you know, please, I'm very excited about seeing the film. Tell us how you approach a film like that.
It's big, and it's a big movie with a big movie star and a really good director with a great track record making very successful action movies. And it was incredibly challenging. It was first of all, it was 6 months, which is a long time to be on a movie.
Yeah.
And second of all, Doug is he really demands originality. And if I played him any music that sounded like regular film music,
Or Depeche Mode.
or Depeche Mode, he really pushed me to forget about all that and come up with new ways of approaching the material. So there was a lot of rewriting. Things got more interesting when Tom Cruise came in to listen to some of my work as well, because he has a slightly different take on some of the way to approach the music than Doug did. So we sort of had to find a middle ground. But in the end, I really appreciated the challenge, and in the end, I think a great experience, and I'm really proud of the end result.
Awesome. Well, thanks so much for being here. I really appreciate it. We all appreciate it.
My pleasure.
Good luck with Edge of Tomorrow and the future projects, and thanks for coming down.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Do you feel that you're an airplane?